Lee, man,
Yes, sir.
we're here, man.
We are
We're
here.
here. How you feeling, man?
Magnificent. How are you?
Magnificent, man.
You
I
are.
have to be magnificent. Like, you have to be
Yeah,
magnificent.
choose magnificence, man.
Like, you going through something? Just
Choose
magnificence,
magnificence,
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a good topic today.
We
do
got
have a good topic.
Good topic, man.
And it's super simple to relate to, but it's deep.
It's super simple, but
It's deep.
deep.
It's deep. So,
Yeah.
what's the topic?
Man, pain of procrastination versus the disillusionment of no consequences.
Ooh,
Wow, right? That's
wow.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful right there.
Yeah, that's a
I don't know how I'm
mouthful.
going to put that in the title block.
Right. But I mean, and I got a simple little story just to to bring out the pain of procrastination.
Okay.
So just think about us cooking a spaghetti dinner.
Yeah.
Me and Erica, like, we're gonna cook spaghetti
pretty
dinner.
good, man.
And from past
Lasagna?
episodes or past times, like if Erica cooks, I do the dishes. Or if I cook, she do the dishes.
Vice versa, yeah.
Yeah, vice versa. But the thought process is like, okay, how I convey this of pain and procrastination is not washing the dishes right away
Okay.
after the meal.
All right.
So I just want everybody, the listener, viewers, to imagine, like, you didn't even.
I'm getting flashbacks
like,
right now,
you
man.
didn't even soak the dishes, like. So it's just you just left the dishes
Yeah.
for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What does that look like? And do you wish, like, man,
I wish I would have put it in that water, man.
at least soaked it, right?
I wish I would have soaked it. Yeah. That's
So
what I'm
now it's
thinking.
all, the sauce is dried and it's caked up. And I mean, if you're in my home, we've got cheese.
Yeah.
So then it's like, how did that crust over all the stuff? And it's just not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, where in our life do we have a disillusionment of, like, if we don't take action, if we don't be proactive with certain things, that it's not going to get worse or tougher
Yeah.
as it goes on.
Mm.
So when I say that, you already immediately look like, oh man, the pain of procrastination. Like, why did he let it? You must have experience.
It's from experiences. I mean, it's from experiences. I could go off of like the dishes that has happened several numerous times in the past.
Wow.
But I've gotten through some of that, and I'm like, I know, like, even when I cook, like if I cook,
Yeah.
there's parts of me, like when I'm cooking, it's like, I need to clean this dish because I don't want to deal with this later.
Right.
Especially when it's cooking
Yeah.
dishes. Now the plates and stuff, but that stuff that comes later.
Right.
But like me getting the stuff, like when I'm done using that piece, I'm either soaking it, putting it in the sink, cleaning it up, whatever.
Right.
But it's like even college, man. Like, wow, you and everybody who's like gone to college or done type of courses like that where you have the choice,
Right.
to choose. Oh, well, you don't have to be here
Right.
or learn this, but you have to take the midterm or whatever it is.
Right.
But I mean, it's flexible with your schedule, and then you put it off, and like midterm, like if you procrastinate on some stuff, it's rough. Like you're spending days just trying to
Cramming.
cram it. He was right. Exactly, cram. And that's where the delusionment of consequence comes in, because, like, do you really know the consequence?
Do you really know?
Like when you're procrastinating, like that, and coming into my head, like procrastination is nothing positive at all in your life.
Right.
It's not. So if you don't know the consequences of that,
Right.
it's like a vicious cycle of just keeping procrastination going and going and going. I mean, wouldn't you think so?
Yeah. So I mean, even if it's like, okay, well, you're with your wife, man. You had a nice dinner, and you don't want to give energy to the dishes. I get it.
Right.
You're like, I want to just keep investing in the evening, in the experience, to have the awareness of like, well, the stuff's gonna be caked up and dry.
Yeah.
So even if you don't, it's like, there's no way you could fill the basin with hot water, hot soapy water, and like as y'all are putting it, like, so it's soaking. I get that, but in this time frame, especially with children, especially with young people, the disillusionment of there's no consequence, and like they don't even have, like, for one, they don't think there is a consequence, but then in the thought process, they definitely can't make the connection. Like, if we don't handle this now, it's gonna be worse later.
Yeah.
Like the way you said about, oh, well, you could have been studying as you went the whole time, showing up for class. You didn't. It's like, oh, no, as long as you come for midterm, you're good. And then now it's like an unnecessary stress, overwhelm, anxiousness that you put on yourself that you didn't have to.
Yeah, and that affects every other thing. Like I was reading an article about it, like how procrastination actually affects, like really does affect you. Like, the first thing it does is it stresses you out. When it stresses you out, then you don't do the necessary stuff, like your movement, your mindset. Those things now are put on the back burner because now you're stressing about midterm, whatever. You're not caring about what you need to be caring about because you've put it off.
Right.
And now you have to face it.
Now you have to face it.
And there's a consequence. And another thing is like, we look at consequences as a negative thing. Consequences could be a positive thing.
Right.
In these situations.
That's what, like, makes me think about, I'm about to go out of town for a week.
Yeah.
Looking at the yard, and it's like,
whoa.
It doesn't need it.
It doesn't need it.
But I know by the time I get back, the investment of if I would just ride over it now and touch it up compared to what it'll be when I get back. It's literally like I'm cutting back a jungle now. Like, because it rained for 5 days while out of the 7 that you were gone. And then don't let it be that, with the first 3 days that you get back, it's pouring rain.
Oh,
so
man.
Now you really got a jungle.
Oh,
and it's
gosh.
like,
man,
all you had to do was ride over it.
That's it.
And be proactive. But the people would think, okay, the disillusionment of, okay, I said it's a jungle, but if I would have ran over it and stayed ahead of it, that's basically, I'm tending to the garden. So you think, okay, jungle or garden? Caked up dishes or they're soaked. It's just, basically with the dishes, the water does most of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you catch it when it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But once you let it, like, there's a whole different elbow that you got to put in that, scrubbing that.
Oh, yeah. It's caked up, man.
It's caked up.
A lot of procrastination caking up on that pan right now.
Right. But so it's just, what does that look like in your life? Like, what we want to take it to the next level is like, are you procrastinating on reading your word?
Mm-hmm.
Are you procrastinating in your prayer life? Are you procrastinating on just having that conversation with God? Like asking the questions that need to be asked? Are you putting that off like you got time? Like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it when I get back. And now your life's a jungle?
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to say the jungle's chaotic, but it's not a garden. There's stuff that happens in a jungle that doesn't happen in a garden. And I was talking with Erica. We were doing a study with her family. And it was like, in order to obey God's word, you got to know what his word is. But if you're procrastinating on reading it to find out what it is,
that's a consequence.
That's not something that I promise you, you're not going to want to cram
No.
for that midterm
No.
or that final exam.
That's one midterm you don't get back right there on that one.
I mean,
you don't.
So I was talking to somebody who was like, man, somebody, law enforcement days, you be like, oh, I got a parking ticket or I got a speeding ticket. And it's like, did you pay the ticket? No. Did you go to court? No. So, man, you got a bench warrant, man.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, you have a bench warrant.
It don't matter how nice you are or how good of a person
they
you are.
want their money.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't ferry to a pier, you didn't pay it, like, you got a bench warrant.
Right.
But I'm saying that version is because people don't even have a connection of, like, there's consequences. So that's why it's the disillusionment of consequences. But we know the enemy, the adversary, the devil, whatever you want to call it, wants to pull the veil over your eyes to say, like, oh, no.
No, you're good.
You're good. You won't surely die.
Oh, no.
And it's like, there's consequences that's at stake here. And I know we talk as hell. You talk about spaghetti, man. You all, for everybody that's been listening and the new listeners, great new viewers, I just like to say it in a simple way so you can literally visualize, like, man.
People get it when
you
it's simple.
see that.
Yeah.
And be like, I know what the pan looks like if I don't wash it right away.
Like, you can feel it.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
And
like,
I mean, especially with someone, like, even what I said, I saw your face when I said, man, I'm going out of town for 7 days.
Yeah.
The grass doesn't need it.
Because like, I've sat there and I'm like, we're going to be out. Like, oh, man, this is going to be rough. I know it's going to be rough. Like, you know the consequence.
Yeah. If I don't run over this, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it.
You're going to pay for it.
Later.
Yes.
So why do we want to keep playing these games and putting off things that really and truly need to be rectified now?
Right.
What time is it, Lee? Now. So I would challenge everyone listening, like, quit procrastinating on this. And you fill in the blank. I know the biggest one, the ultimate, is getting your life right with your Creator.
Right.
With God.
I mean, I could think of several areas.
Not procrastinating with Jesus.
Like that, your faith. That's number one for me.
Quit putting that off.
You can't put that off. Your marriage, your relationships, your business.
Your business.
Knowing what your business is, where it's going, how the situation is externally that affects your business.
Right.
I mean, it's like guarding your heart in a way.
Right.
Like, you don't want to procrastinate on that.
You don't. It's got to be a specific time. Like, so the thought process is, why are you procrastinating on your meal prepping? Why are you procrastinating on your movement? Why are you procrastinating on the message that you're putting out to the world? Why are you procrastinating on calling that mentor, checking in with that mentor? Why are you procrastinating with truly honoring your message of how you want to show up and what you want to bring to the table? Yeah. And certain things don't come to fruition unless it's kind of like when I said, how do you obey the word, the law, or the word of God if you don't know what it is? Yeah. So it's almost like tying it in. How do you honor your message if you procrastinate on honoring what you're created to do?
Yeah.
And who did it and who created you for it, how that all transpired. So it's just, we're not talking about caked up Parmesan, man. Spaghetti sauce. Like, let's take care of some of that caked up on your heart, on your soul, to face some of that stuff. And to really say, hey, I won't be tricked out of my victory. Yeah. I will not allow the disillusionment of no consequences because that's what the enemy wants you to believe and wants you to think like, oh, there's nothing gonna happen. Isn't if you take a bite out of the fruit, it doesn't like you just nothing's gonna happen. It's like that's from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's not true. And we're seeing it now. But to literally make the connection for people to say, hey, I won't ever forget when our mentor said, if you eat a chocolate bar a day, like, yeah, you might not get diabetes the first week.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I mean?
might not, but something's gonna happen.
If you eat a chocolate bar every day for the next 5 days, yeah, do you have diabetes? Probably not. But how long does that ratio persist before it's changed? So there's consequences with that. But let's say you say, okay, well, I'm going to eat an apple a day.
Keeps the doctor away, man.
I mean, you said that, right? So it's like, I'm going to eat an apple a day. It's a different feel.
It is a different feel.
It's a different consequence.
Like even, and the thing is like, for me and you, we know what the consequence is. And it's like, well, why do we still, like, why is this still happening? Like, why do we still do these things? Like, why does that happen?
Yeah.
And it's even with like, I can just picture with the kids and the dishes. Like, okay, we're going to eat, but I need you to rinse this thing off, put it in the dishwasher, do something with it. But don't leave it sitting. And in their mind, they're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. Or you just tell them to do something and you just say, I said so.
Mm-hmm.
You not showing them what the consequences are, good and bad,
right,
doesn't serve them.
It does a disservice.
And you've got to be able to do that. And that goes across the board, not just for kids, like for everything.
Right.
Being able to explain the cause and effects of your actions.
Cause and effects.
Builds character. Builds the magnificence that they can have. And you want to provide that service for them. That's what we do on this podcast. Like, I want to provide that service for people.
Right.
To like have them at least think about it.
At least think.
You know?
Mm-hmm. You don't cut the grass before you leave, it's going to be a jungle when you come back.
I like that analogy about the garden though, man.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems easier to like be weeding the garden instead of dealing with the jungle.
It does. I'd definitely rather weed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's what it is, man. Stop putting off things you know you can handle and take care of today.
Yeah. I mean, it's crucial, man. It's crucial to recognize that. And I feel like when you recognize the consequences and you understand what those good and bad are, the procrastination thing goes out the window.
Out the window. Yes, it does. Yeah, man. So don't be tricked.
Don't be tricked, man.
Don't be disillusioned.
Know the consequences.
There's a price on everything.
Love it, man. Love it.
Till next time.
All right. This is your co-host here, Braxton Matson, and Lee and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you've enjoyed it just as much as we did making it, but we couldn't do it without you. So please hit that like button, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Let us know what topic or subject that you would like us to talk about in your journey from mediocre to magnificent. But most of all, share it. Be the ripple effect of magnificence.
and know that you are magnificent in everything you do. Till next time.